Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Hockey Report. In this video, we're going to take a look at the three losers, three on the fence, and the three winners of the 2022 NHL entry draft. For the losers, I'm going to say for number 3, I'm going to say Shane Wright. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Shane Wright should have slipped at 4th overall. I don't. However, it still happened for one. And two, Shane Wright was for the longest time the projected first overall pick. But if you want to be the first projected first overall pick, you have to prove that. And it was at times looking like he wasn't proving that. It was looking like Slavkovsky was proving that more, as analysts like Bob McKenzie were projecting that he was the number 1 overall pick. So yeah, that's why I give it to Shane Wright. At number 2 for biggest losers, Arizona Coyotes. Now remember, I said that Shane Wright should not have slipped to number 4, and that's why I give the Arizona Coyotes the number 2 spot. I get it, they were fixated on Logan Cooley, but I think Shane Wright's going to be the better player going forward. To add to it, I thought the acquisition of Zach Kassian was completely unnecessary. Since when is I know they got a 29th overall pick, but to package Zach Kassian with that, I don't know. I don't necessarily like the acquisition of Zach Kassian as well. So yeah, number 1, obviously Chicago, obviously. I think they drafted well though, and I don't think the trade for Peter Mrazek is all that bad. It's not like goaltending is really going to matter too much in Chicago because they had Marc-Andre Fleury last season and he didn't really do much in Chicago. So yeah, but unless this is an attempt to get Connor Bedard next season, and most likely it looks like it, oh boy. They could have got more for the Alex DeBrincat trade, and they traded away Kirby Dach. Now those two players are respectively 21 years old, which is Kirby Dach, and 24 years old, that's Alex DeBrincat. So, yeah, obviously Chicago were the biggest losers of the draft. Now we're going to go on to the on the fence, the 3 on the fence for the draft. I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Winnipeg Jets with the Rutger McGroarty pick. Now, because McGroarty needs to work on his skating, and while he's got the work ethic and the size and grit or whatever, I thought there were better prospects. However, they're only the honorable mention. I'm gonna say number 3. I'm gonna give it to the New York Islanders. They decided to give up the 13th overall pick to get Alexander Romanov. Now, don't get me wrong, Alexander Romanov, good player, only going to get better. And it can be a solid acquisition. The only thing is, where do you put him? And what's his ceiling? Like, Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock have the number 1 D pairing solidified, locked. And then you got Noah Dobson. Maybe has the potential to be better than those two. Maybe. And then you got Scott Mayfield, who's a good complementary defenseman as well. So, where does Romanov fit? Does he take over Mayfield's spot? Or does he end up on the 3rd D pairing? I don't know. We'll see. At number 2, Detroit Red Wings. I put in Detroit on the fence because they chose Marco Kasper over Matthew Savoie. Now don't get me wrong. Yzerman's not afraid to go off to go like out in left field. And everyone says, "Whoa, Yzerman knows what he's doing. We'll see. So it could be a good pick." And yeah, so I haven't seen much from Kasper, but it feels like they take Kasper over Matthew Savoie. I feel like Savoie seemed like, you know, the higher um, uh, prospect, the higher talented prospect, whatever. So that's why I say we'll see. And my number one team for on the fence is actually Montreal Canadiens. Now I understand the Uri Slafkovsky selection because that there were some people that said that he was the better player between him and Shane Wright. But then they go out and they trade for, I don't know, the defense is already thin as it is. They trade Romanov away. And then while Kirby Dach is still very young, and I think he was poorly handled in Chicago regarding like development, and then, you know, the wrist injury was affecting him or whatever. We'll see if Montreal is any better. We'll see if Montreal's in a better location. You can make the debate if, and you could also make the debate if you know, the forwards are better in Montreal than they are in Chicago. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of uncertainty there, in my opinion. Uh, so basically, yeah, we'll just see. To add to it, Kirby Dach is a third overall pick. So, and this is a one area that the Montreal's had either drafted or traded for in the past, and it hasn't worked out. Like they drafted Galchenyuk and Kotkaniemi, both at third overall pick in the past, and then they've traded for Jonathan Drouin and now Kirby Dach, who are, you know, in the past third overall picks. Just saying, between Galchenyuk, Drouin, Kotkaniemi, all hasn't worked out, so we'll see if Dach works out. All right, let's take a look at the three winners of the draft. At number, you know what? I'll give an honorable mention to Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, for the Peter Mrazek trade, because it, you know, gives them some cap space or whatever. I know some people call them losers for it, but I don't think they're losers for it. But anyways, I think I'll give the number three winners to Columbus, because Columbus, you know, ended up getting the David Jurich. You know, they ended up with the number 6 overall pick and the number 12 overall pick. They selected defenseman David Jiricek and defenseman Colton Mateychuk. And I really like what Columbus is doing with their defense. Now they've added 2 more prospects to it. They already have Jake Bean there. They already have Adam Boqvist there. Zach Werenski is going to be there for a while. I like what they're doing with their blue line. And they're continuing to do so. So, yep. Columbus, well done. Thumbs up. And number 2, Seattle Kraken. The fact that you were able to get Shane Wright 4th overall, as much as it sucks that he dropped the 4th overall, like I said, he shouldn't have. So, big steal for the Seattle Kraken. They've got their 2 up-and-coming centers now in Shane Wright and Matty Beniers. So, well done, Seattle. Well done. But the number 1 winners is obviously the Ottawa Senators. The acquisition of Alex DeBrincat, that's just self-explanatory. It just speaks for itself. They're obviously the number 1 winners in my opinion there. This video is mostly based on opinion and may or may not have any implications on how these players or teams will do come next season or in the future seasons or whatnot. So remember, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me. Take care, everyone, and follow my Instagram account, The Average Joe Hockey Report, and my YouTube channel, Marty Tommy, in parentheses, Average Joe Hockey Report.